Hey guys, time for another low quality night video. Can already see my camera just making this look like complete dung. But unfortunately the light in my room is busted and I'm in a different room and, well, yeah, it looks even worse. This package here is, as always, something I got from eBay. Now, I popped into my local game station to get this. Well, not to get this, just have a browse actually. And as it happened, they had a copy of it. And it was $7.99. Obviously, I'm deliberately not telling you what it is. So I took it to the counter. And as it turned out, there was no manual with it. And I knew I could get it online for about the same price. So I just said, you know, sold it and left them with it and went home. And upon my arrival home, I went on the internet. And I found this. For $7.99, free delivery. It's the same game, sealed, which obviously means with the bloody manual, for the same price the game station were trying to fob me off for a no-manual second-hand version. So, absolutely chuffed with this one. There's like a billion versions of this online as well, copies I should say. So yeah, this is Forbidden Siren 2. If you're not familiar with it, it's the game where you run from the undead instead of killing them. It's survival horror at its finest, and it's very, very Japanese. And I think it's a really bad voice acting, but, you know, I did just say very, very Japanese, so kind of goes without saying. It's an interesting title because I don't think it saw an American release. It came out in Japan as Siren 2, and the original of course came out as Siren. Also came out in the States, but the second one, yeah, the only English translation there is this sort of PAL version. So I picked this up. There is no 60Hz, but seeing as it's the only copy I'm going to be able to play because I don't speak Japanese, then it seemed like the only way forward. So let's have a look. I should try and crack this one open. I'm so pleased that I managed to get a sealed one. It's really cool. I've been having an eye about this game for absolutely years. One of the things that put me off was the lack of 60Hz mode, which I was aware of. But at the time I didn't realise it you know, hadn't received an American release. It just bugs me knowing that there's a better version of the game out there that I could get for the same price with, or less sometimes, with a 60Hz mode. But in the case of this, there isn't. So let's have a look. Yep, surprisingly enough, brand new. And yeah, looks a nice little colour manual. It's really atmospheric. Let's look at that picture actually.
Hey, are you
really amazing. They released. Hey guys, couple of new eBay pickups here. And right, let's have a look. Start with this one. I got these on the cheap, hence eBay. And this first one is Legends of Wrestling. It's basically Legends of Wrestling 3 Showdown, but I think they called it Showdown Legends of Wrestling for some strange reason. Now, these aren't fantastic games. As I say, this is the third and final entry in the series from the now defunct Acclaim. But as a wrestling nut, I wanted it because they've licensed so many great wrestlers. I mean, you can see from the cover there, you've got the Ultimate Warrior, Sting, Jake Snake Roberts, Randy Savage. I'm going to assume that's Andre the Giant. He looks more like Don Morocco, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's got a massive roster. It's even got like a voiced over tutorial from Bret Hart, which is hilarious because obviously, you know, he's probably got no interest in the game whatsoever, so he's just completely dead, dead reading the script, and it's kind of hilarious. But yeah, the gameplay's not terrible. It's not particularly in depth, but it's got it's got the signature moves you'd want. It's got all the match types you'd want. And, you know, more than anything, it's just a sort of nostalgia trip, and it's wonderful. And I think it features Bobby Heenan on commentary as well. Obviously, this is only for wrestling fans. And maybe... Oh, it's not actually. It's Jerry Lawler and Tony Schiavone. I think this was made during the period when Jerry Lawler was away from the WWE, or WWF. The number 1 and 2 actually feature Bobby Heenan on commentary, which is fantastic. I don't know what Lawler's commentary is going to be like in this, but certainly worth a listen. But yeah, just full of loads of wrestling legends. Like I say, not the best game ever. But if you're into wrestling and sort of wrestling nostalgia, then it's a good purchase. It's complete and it's in great condition. By the look of it. Yep. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. I won't be taking too much of your time up with this because I appreciate most people who are watching this for retro games and classics aren't really going to appreciate a sort of sub-bog standard wrestling game. You might appreciate this though. So let's have a look here. Also, comes in birthday paper. Always a bonus, always a bonus. So this is the sequel to the greatest game of all time, some might say. Shenmue 2 for the original Xbox. Now, Shenmue 2 was originally released on the Sega Dreamcast, and it was only released in Europe and Japan, I believe. and there was actually no translation in it. So there was simply, there was text, there was English text, but there was no voiceover, which, depending on how you feel about Shenmue 1's terrible voice acting, sort of changes the way of whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But let's have a look. So they re-released it on the Xbox very early in the Xbox's life cycle. It's got a better frame rate, high resolution graphics, and it's got some filters, and for some reason you can take photographs at any point in the game, and those are the sort of selling points. Another selling point was that they give you the Shenmue movie, which might sound really good, and it's alright, but it's basically just a collection of cutscenes from the original Shenmue on the Dreamcast. So, not in bad shape actually. I already own the NTSC version of this game, but I absolutely love the Shenmue series, and I don't know. Basically, the Xbox 360 is not region free when it comes to anything actually. So I bought this once for £2 in Blockbuster with no manual and no movie disc for a friend of mine, and I just checked to see if it worked before I gave it to him. And I checked it on my 360, and the 360 actually upscaled it, and it looked absolutely amazing on the 360. So ever since then, it's kind of been in the back of my mind to try and pick up a copy for myself, obviously complete, and so I can enjoy the same thing. So that is the case here. I actually got this game originally when it launched, which was quite a few years ago now. It was about 2002, maybe 2001. No, it was 2002. But it's a fantastic game. If you haven't played the original Shenmue, by all means, seek it out on the Dreamcast. It's most certainly not for everyone, but those of us who do enjoy it absolutely love it. And the sequel's effectively more of the same. Interestingly, Shenmue was intended to be a series of games, and it ended up getting crammed down to a trilogy. But unfortunately, due to the lack of success of the Dreamcast and indeed the games themselves, they never got to make a part 3, but there's been rumours spinning around for years that potentially it could happen. But who knows? I mean, the guy who makes this, Yu Suzuki, who's famous for, I think, Outrun and Space Harrier, recently left Sega, although he's still doing projects with them, and he has mentioned that he'd still like to pursue a sort of Shenmue 3. So, you never know. But yeah, that's a couple of new pickups there, and as always, there'll be a new video shortly.